Made the choice to serve my country.
I chose to fight for my country.
I took an oath for my country.
Because of what I went through, my brain was injured.
An injury called post-traumatic stress.
I knew I was struggling with something. I didn't know it was post-traumatic stress.
Some things are beyond my control, but asking for help isn't.
Make the call.
Make the call.
Make the call.
Welcome back. The Three Wise Men Veterans Foundation launched a new campaign today, you just saw it, to help our veterans living with post-traumatic stress.
And studies show only half of veterans with PTS will ever seek treatment. Joining us with more on why this is happening is the group's founder, Marine veteran Nathan Fletcher. Nathan, thanks for being with us. I didn't know you had founded this organization. Tell us a little more about it and how it's going to help veterans with PTS.
Well, I started it in honor of my cousins. They were my closest friends growing up. The three wise men were Jeremy Wise, Ben Wise, and Bo Wise, who I always called them the Three Wise Men. And they were my cousins, my closest friends growing up. We all joined the military together. We estimate we did over 3,000 days deployed at war. Tragically, December 30th, 2009, Jeremy Wise was killed by a suicide bomber. He was a Navy SEAL. Just over 2 years later, Ben Wise, an Army Green Beret, was killed in Afghanistan in combat as well. Bo Wise, the baby Bo, I always call him the third wise man, he remains on active duty in the military. And so the reason I founded it was that we honor Jeremy and Ben, but they're gone. But every day in America, between 22 and 50 veterans who survived combat take their own life. And that's an epidemic that I can't understand and I can't struggle. And so I thought we have to do something to try and tackle it. And that's exactly what we're getting at. So studies that say, a lot of the focus is, hey, we got to make the VA work better, and we should do that. But what about the one half of veterans who the problem is not they couldn't get in the door, it's that they aren't knocking. And so we have to tackle this stigma. Physical injury is the same as a mental health injury, and every veteran who's suffering needs to feel confident that they can go and ask for help.
And these men and women who come back from war, they call it a silent injury because you can't see it. They look perfectly normal, and they're considered a hero coming back. But they are suffering tremendously. Tell us about what it is like, and the third cousin of yours who is alive, some of his daily trauma that he's had to deal with.
Well, what you see, I mean, the longest war in the history of America is Afghanistan. The second longest war is Iraq. You see the multiple deployments. It used to be 10% served in uniform. It's now less than 1%. So there's a sense of isolation when they come back. But even more than that is this dichotomy of a physical wound versus a mental wound. So if you get nicked with shrapnel, no stitch, no scar, no lasting impact, we give you a medal. We give you a Purple Heart. We honor you. There's no shame in saying I was wounded in combat. But if because of that exact same combat experience your brain was injured, we go, no, don't tell anyone. You don't get a Purple Heart. There's a societal shame, and that's what we have to break down. We got to tell these veterans because of what you went through, your brain was injured. No different than a physical wound. You wouldn't think twice about getting patched up if you'd been shot. So now you got to have the courage. You have the courage to fight. Now you got to have the courage to ask for help because we know they can do better. The studies show, the LA Times reported on a lengthy VA study, that veterans who are in treatment programs are much less likely to take their own life, to harm themselves. It's just getting over that hurdle. And so our message to veterans is just that. It's that we love you. There's a lot of people who care about you. There's a lot of veterans going through the exact same thing. And just have that courage to make that call.
How helpful is the VA? We know they've had their own problems in helping the veterans deal with this. And what kind of treatment do they go through once they sign up?
Well, I don't know there's anyone that's been more critical of the VA than myself. We're a country that put a man on the moon 45 years ago, and yet we can't seem to design a system that tracks appointments and mail and things like that, and I think they can do better. I do think this VA secretary is doing his very best to change a large organization. They have a long way to go, but nobody goes to work at the VA every day and says, today my goal is to deny veterans care. That's not why they go to work. It's just a systematic problem, and we have to tackle that. But we have to simultaneously, while we're tackling that, tell these other veterans, hey, services are available. And I've spent 2 years trying to figure out, okay, what works, what doesn't. And the reality is it's different for every veteran. Some veterans, it's counseling. Some veterans, it's faith. Some, it's fitness. I talked to a group of veterans, and their treatment for post-traumatic stress is they surf as a group every morning together. There's great organizations like Team Red, White, and Blue that bring veterans together for social outings and physical fitness. The biggest thing is just that they make that acknowledgement. They find other veterans like them, and they commit to say, hey, it's not post-traumatic stress, it's post-traumatic growth. I'm going to grow and get stronger.
Sure.
And the bottom line is this group, this campaign that you have underway right now, it's other veterans telling veterans that it is okay to make the call and ask for help.
That's exactly right. It's veterans speaking to veterans. Hey, we've been through the same thing. We walked down the same paths. We've also seen the good that can come. A life of purpose and progress and a real commitment to doing good. You can't take your own life. You have an obligation to your brothers and sisters who died to live yours fully, and that's our message to vets.
Well, we wish you much success in this.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Good to see you, Nathan Fletcher. And you can go to KUSI.com to get the information, more information on how to